deteriorating at a hospital in Kampala. But as the veteran politician fights for his dear life, attention is turning back to Kenya and its role in the events that saw him deported to Uganda nearly 2 years ago. Nairobi has denied any wrongdoing. However, uncomfortable questions over who authorized his removal and whether due process was followed continue to fuel intense scrutiny on Kenya. KTN senior security reporter Francis Ontomwa reports.
This nonsense must stop. You can handcuff me, but this nonsense will have to stop.
This was the last video of Kizza Besigye when he appeared before a courtroom in Kampala. A frail-looking Besigye collapsed before cameras as he tried to convince the court to allow for his freedom. Today, his family says Besigye remains critically ill at the Mulago Specialized Hospital in Kampala. His wife, Winnie Vyanyima, has not had a word with him. He can't talk or walk.
I found him lying there asleep, but he's very drained. He looked very weak. He remained asleep for a long time. When he could open his eyes, he still cannot talk.
But the questions surrounding Kizza Besigye's ordeal do not begin and end in Kampala. They trace back to Nairobi. This is where the veteran politician was last seen in public before he was taken to Uganda's military camps in November 2024. This CCTV footage captured at Nairobi's Riverside area shows Besigye walking calmly into an apartment lift. Within just a few hours, he would disappear, only to later resurface in military custody in Uganda.
If a political figure could be seized in Nairobi and end up in another country's military court, what does that say about political exiles and refugees currently in Kenya?
Human rights defenders across the region argue that Kenya may have failed one of East Africa's most persecuted opposition figures.
Kenya bears a huge responsibility. And the question that everyone is asking, did we follow Kenya's extradition laws? At any point, which are these agencies that were involved in this extradition? Because someone has to be held accountable.
For decades, Kenya has been regarded as a refugee for political fugitives and those fleeing repression across the region. But the controversial Kizza Besigye story now casts a dark shadow over that legacy.
We are deeply concerned because Kenya is a state signatory to a number of international treaties, all which prohibit the repatriation of a foreigner who is likely to face torture and denial of rights in their countries.
At the height of the scandal, Kenya's Foreign Affairs Principal Secretary Korir Sing'oei denied Kenya's involvement, insisting Nairobi had no role in the alleged abduction.
And because the extradition laws were not followed, has anyone been held accountable? These are all questions that require answers, and as Kenyans, we must not keep quiet until those answers are given.
Once a close ally of President Yoweri Museveni, Besigye has for over 2 decades become his fiercest critic, making him face multiple arrests and detention.
We have seen a pattern in East Africa where citizens who speak against the government are tortured, are abducted. We have seen the government of Tanzania doing the same. We have seen it in Uganda and in Kenya.
Amnesty International has described Besigye's case as a violation of fundamental rights. And as Besigye battles for his life in the intensive care unit, back home, the question surrounding what happened remains a puzzle that Kenya cannot simply walk away from. Francis Ontomwa, KTN.